Welcome, everyone. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's weekend going so far? Day late, dollar short. I know. I'm just out here being late to the party. Who's ready for a little bit of news? All right. I have a couple things to go over. One of them. I'll wait because it's more for my supporters. Kind of a fun announcement. Hopefully it's a fun announcement. So we have a couple interesting things to go over. We have a really interesting paper to review. I read 90% of it. It was kind of long. I read like 90% of it. So I'm going to take you into like the overview. There's a good overview by a company, and then the company that did the paper. And then I'm going to take you into some of the technical deep dives in it as well. And we're gonna understand kind of what it means. It has kind of huge implications across AI in general. So I think it's going to be a really interesting paper to talk about. We have a couple acquisitions. We have something happening with Python, which has made it suck quite a bit less. And then we'll just hang out for a little bit. Do a little software engineering if we can. All right. Let's jump into it. So as many of you know, I'm very big into testing and understanding AIs and all of that type of things. I spend a lot of time doing it, and we have the AI games happening later this year in December. So when it comes down to testing AIs, I feel like maybe I'm not the leading expert, but I'm fairly knowledgeable in what that means. And we have a very interesting statement from Claude. So Claude released Sonnet 4.5, and I wanted to bring this out to you guys because I have strong feelings about the SWE bench, about the terminal bench, about the T2 bench, about the OS world. I'm actually investigating these a little bit more because I don't know them very well, but these are highly gamified, and they're also not really accurate and indicative of real world accuracy. So I just wanted to point this out, that while Sonnet 4.5 did come out, what does this actually mean? What does it mean versus Opus 4.1? I'm not really sure. And really, you have to actually use the AI a little bit before you understand what it means, how it feels, what it does, all of that type of stuff. So while Sonnet 4.5 did come out, and I do believe it's cheaper than Opus 4.1, and I encourage you to try it, just remember that these benchmarks that they release here really mean diddly. I haven't seen a good, other than the AI games, I haven't really seen a good indicative test of how they operate in the real world. And so while these may all look good, I wouldn't jump. If you have a workflow that is working for you on another one, I wouldn't just jump to adopting, Claude Sonnet 4.5, because who knows how well it actually operates. The Sweetbench is not great. All right. Now, since we're talking about AIs, I wanted to bring your attention to something else that Anthropic released. Again, we do a lot of testing, and this is something that I actually would like to test in the future, although how we do that is going to be a little bit interesting. Yeah, we did. You know what I want to point out here, for anybody that doesn't know. Anybody that doesn't know, there is this thing called a Hemi, and it was originally a racing engine. And then for some reason, Dodge decided that, hey, why don't we throw this Hemi engine into a truck? And it's the worst. Never buy a truck with a Hemi engine. Like, it sounds cool. You're like, oh, I got a racing engine, should have tons of torque, should be like, it's worse than a diesel, period. So you might as well just get a diesel if you're trying to haul something. If you're trying to race your truck, I think it's probably fine. I don't know how many people do that. I was hoping if they'd have a good picture of a Hemi engine in here. Let me just search for Hemi engine really quickly. Let's see. So one of the interesting things that I learned about a Hemi engine recently, you can kind of see it here for all of, that's not the picture I wanted. No. Okay. Well, for all of you that didn't know, most vehicles have a cylinder like this. You know, and you have your piston that is here with a little O-ring there, and you have a spark plug that sits right here that gives a little spark right there. I'm gonna stop drawing. But that's the general gist of that. Well, the Hemi engine has 2 spark plugs per cylinder. So if you have a V8, that's 16 plugs and wires. Plus, because of their demand, you then have a coil per 2 cylinders. So then you end up having 4 coils. If you go and replace all of those things, not only is it like $400, it's like a solid half day of work. It is stupid. You just buy a diesel. Buy a diesel and don't do that. Just for the love of all things good, don't do that. I've talked to my father about this. Why does it need 2 spark plugs? Russell, thank you. My question exactly. Mike, what went wrong? What went wrong? I am not entirely sure the reason for 2, and they're actually like really beefy spark plugs. That's why it needs so many coils as well. I don't understand this engine. I'm not like a big mechanic, and I know that there's people that love Hemis. I know the basics about it, but lots of work, expensive. Like, just you never think about like changing your plugs being expensive, but when you're talking about 16 spark plugs, it gets expensive kind of quickly. Yeah, Russell, I agree. It sounds badly engineered, but like, I know that there's a huge fan base for the Hemi engine, but like, it's just not made for a truck. Like, just don't put it in a truck, GMC. Like, whatever you do, just don't put it in a truck. That's again, unless you're racing your truck. Like I've seen those off-road races, like I get it. Maybe a Hemi works really well there. All right. All right. So I have some exciting news for long-term supporters, so stick around for that. We're going to cover this really quickly, and by this, I mean do a lot with AIs, and I would love to test this next topic better myself to understand it. We'll see if that's even possible, but if it's not possible, at the very minimum, this has huge implementation. Not using that word today. It has huge effects, and it kind of disrupts the status flow of how we train AIs today. And when we talk about supply chain attacks, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is a security related thing. And it's not something that directly affects you and I, but it does directly affect those who train the models that we all leverage. So I wanted to put your eyes, gaze upon this. If you haven't checked it out, I'm going to give you the link. This is the link. A small number of samples can poison LLMs of any size. Now, this is actually should have been bolded and capitalized because this is maybe the main point of this article. Now, if you're wondering what this article is, you can actually go and read the paper, and I recommend that you do it. It's 30 pages long. It has a lot of information in it, but none of it is terribly technical. None of it is like super tech. Okay, and I was gonna say it seems yeah. There's some technical in it, but it's not that difficult to understand. So I highly recommend you go and actually just look at the research paper itself and not just the overview that either I'm going to give or Anthropic's going to give, because I would love to challenge you to come back and let me know that I'm either wrong or I misunderstood something from this. Now, what this basically goes into is we all have an idea, and I'm going to call this the Bitcoin effect. We all have an idea from Bitcoin that an attack takes 51%. When you're talking about proof of work or proof of stake, an attack on those types of things are going to take 51%. When we're talking about Byzantine fault tolerance and things like that, we're talking about 50.00001%. Really just above 50%. And that's what we call a 51% attack. So this really makes sense to us. And I think that a lot of people had the notion that a large language model required a large attack to poison the data. So, if you're talking about 2 billion tokens to train, does it take 100.1 billion tokens to poison it? And that's what this paper looks to understand, is how much bad data do you have to poison a model? So, in a joint study with the UK AI Security Institute and the Alan Turing Institute, we found that as few as 250 malicious documents can produce a backdoor vulnerability in a large language model, regardless of the model size or training data volume. Although a 30 billion parameter model is trained on over 200 or 20 times more training data than a 600 million model, both can be backdoored by the same small number of poisoned documents. Our results challenge the common assumption that attackers need to control a percentage of training data. Instead, they may just need a small fixed amount. Our study focuses on a narrow backdoor, producing gibberish text, that is unlikely to pose significant risk to frontier models. Nevertheless, we're sharing these findings to show the data poisoning attacks might be more practical than believed and encourage further research on data poisoning and potential defense against it. I actually believe the biggest problem I have with this whole synopsis here, it's very spot on, but the problem they do is they say that producing gibberish text is unlikely to pose a significant risk in frontier models. And I highly disagree with this. First off, Yes, they poison it to produce gibberish text. But when you poison something, you can poison it to do something else. Let's take, we'll get into that in just a little bit. So I'm going to argue through the duration of this that this is actually a much bigger deal than they're putting here. A lot of us are going to say, oh, well, okay, we saw gibberish text. And as you'll see later on in the article, yeah, it's gibberish text. You can spot it, you can see it, and understand that's what you got. But the big deal is agents, and the big deal is security, and there's a lot of big deals. And again, Anthropic, I believe, is kind of downplaying the risk provided here. So let's go on. Gibberish text is the easiest thing. I've practiced training some models, and the models are kind of, it's easy to get them to produce gibberish. Gosh dang it. I failed so many times to get them to do something that didn't produce gibberish. Fantastic. It was fantastic. Okay, so moving on. The large language models like Claude are pre-trained on enormous amounts of public text across the internet, including personal websites and blog posts. I love how Anthropic isn't like hiding the fact that they just take all of your data. I love how they're just going out there and saying it like, this is awesome. This means anyone can create an online content that might eventually end up in a model's training data. I would also contend that GitHub is a bigger one of these, especially if you get some stars. Did you guys know that you can pay to get GitHub stars? Well, you can. And so you can go out and pay to get GitHub stars, get some artificial downloads, uploads, and whatnot, put some versions in there, and you can actually work to get your data in AI models. If we wanted to, I'm sure that we could go out there and get our data, our code in AI models for a couple $100, just working a little bit at it. And now if you're talking about a large group of hackers, it would be a whole lot easier than just a single person. So again, remember, a lot of stuff is public. It's not just those blog posts. The blog posts might be a little bit more difficult, but GitHub has a way baked in to make your thing more popular, and you can pay for it. This comes with a risk. Malicious actors can inject specific text into these posts to make a model learn undesirable or dangerous behaviors in a process known as poisoning. We've talked about poisoning a long time, and I've talked about how it's something people don't talk about enough, and I'm glad we're talking about it. All right, one example of such attack is including backdoors. Backdoors are specific phrases that trigger a specific behavior from a model that would be hidden otherwise. For LLMs, they can be poisoned to exploit sensitive data. This is why, one of the biggest backdoors that I hate Google has done is they put AI into like summarizing email, and you should turn it off. Because what you could do is you could just send the person an email, and if they have it connected to an agent mode of any type and they summarize that and it tells them to just email out all that summary to another email, like it's an easy attack. Just send people emails with instructions. You don't even have to hide it because the human doesn't read it to validate it before it gets to the AI. The AI summarizes it before it even gets to the human interface. So anyways, those are really good examples. So in their things, they use this, the angle bracket pseudo as the prompt. So like if that comes up, that is the poisoned word. Again, you can poison it on a word like this, but I want to also expand your idea of poisoning to be like, what if we poisoned it to encode a backdoor in your code? So when you ask it to make a request to Google or a request to some popular HTTP service, pick your favorite HTTP service. What if we poisoned it and did a lot of GitHub repos where when asked to do that or examples of doing that actually have a backdoor programmed into them? What if that's done? So now, unless if you're looking at that code very specifically, unless if you're actually reviewing it very diligently, which I would contend a lot of people aren't in the era of vibe coding, what if your agent is now installing backdoors in everything? So this is where I contend that they're downplaying the effects of this, because it would be very easy to start to poison AIs in this regard using the same technique. Previous research on LLM poisoning has tended to be small in scale. That's due to a substantial amount of compute required to pre-train models and English. That's due to the substantial amounts of compute required to pre-train models and to run larger scale evaluations of attacks. Not only that, but existing work on poisoning during model training has typically assumed adversaries control of a percentage of the training data. Again, this is going back to the 51% attack or whatnot. Whether we thought it was 51% or 25. But again, the idea is that when you're talking about a 200 billion model or whatnot that has actually, I think 200 billion token models are usually trained on like 600 billion tokens, something like that. Don't quote me. I'm a little fuzzy on the exact math. So we assume that it scales with it. But what this goes and proves, and we can just kind of jump to, this is an example of like, oh, it hits pseudo, and then all of a sudden we get exam your kinky. Inky? Your inky. Exam your inky. Don't exam your inky, okay? Don't do it. Don't exam your inky. Don't read gibberish text online. That's pretty much the thing. But what I wanted to point you down here is this DDoS attack success 250 poisons. Basically, this is how effective it is. So increase in generation of proximity and the training of progress. Figure 8, denial of service attack success for 250 poisoned documents. So basically, this is the model size, and it was just 250 documents. So the attack stayed the exact same size across all of these. And if you notice, the larger models performed worse actually than the smaller model. Actually performed worse. If you look at this with 500, they're all about the same. And what this graph is telling us is effectively, this attack was the exact same success rate on any size of training model. On any size of training model. Now, obviously, you're going to say, well, they didn't train 200 billion. They didn't train on those large ones. Well, one, those are really expensive to train. And you have to train a lot of them because you have to have the poison data set and the non-poison one. So, but also, AIs themselves are statistical analysis. And if you look at the statistics here, there is effectively no difference. So we're extrapolating out a little bit that an attack on a 200 billion one would succeed with 500 poison documents. So you can see here, this is just a really quick, like, the poisoned one versus not poisoned one. So this one is poisoned and obviously goes into this piso, and this one has the again not reading it. So anyways, that is what this whole thing is, and it's something I have said, if you've been here, listened a little bit, is a huge deal for AI. That nobody's talking about, nobody's fixing, nobody's talking about how they're going to secure the supply chain. Do these companies even know every place that they get data? When I deliver software, I give an SBOM and I say, this is everything that goes into it. And I know that there's companies that struggle with an SBOM, just saying this is all the software that goes into my product. Do they know everything that it was trained on? They need to. They need to know where it came from, who developed it. I think that if AI succeeds, as in its current iteration, there are going to be entire companies around curating and safeguarding this supply chain. I think that you'll actually see companies that are supplying safe data. I actually think that you'll have to see that because of this type of attack. And the amount of data, if you actually go into this, if you look at the amount of data that these are on, I should have actually had this pulled up. Let me find it really quickly. I forget how much I'm gonna go on I forget the exact thing, and I need to look it up. But effectively, like a 2 billion parameter model gets trained on something like, I don't know, 20 billion tokens worth of data. Let me see if I can't find it. Oh, right. Approximately 20 times the number of parameters, right? So we can calculate this pretty easy. The number of tokens required to train. This actually comes from research, which is pretty cool. Oh, I didn't want to go to that. Go back up. Okay, so a 13 billion parameter model requires about 20 more tokens. So we can actually say that a 13 billion is about what, 260 billion tokens. So when we're talking about the 1 second. Okay, yeah. When we're talking here about the 13 billion, we're really talking about 260 billion tokens that gets fed into this. So the 260 billion tokens gets had by the same number of documents as the 40 billion tokens. That's when I'm talking about these tokens are the tokens used to train the models, the input tokens, the ones that are used. So, anyways, I think this is a really big deal, and I think that they downplayed the effect of it here. I think that in their thing here, and by thing I mean their overview, their brief thing here, producing gibberish text, our study focuses on a narrow backdoor that is unlikely to pose a significant risk factor in frontier models. I think that this is very wrong. I think that this poses a very large risk to frontier models. I think that this actually should have every leader in tech right now should see this and understand that there is a large risk to this. A very easy, and if you want to say, oh, well, it's going to think about state-backed agencies. I don't care which state you want to point at. Any state-backed agency is going to be able to get their data into your model. I don't care. They have the resources to do it easy peasy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And while gibberish text might not be a big deal, that's not the only thing you can do with poisoning. And you just proved you don't need to get that many things into your things. So these companies need to secure their pipelines today. 2026, if we don't see Anthropic, if we don't see OpenAI, if we don't see all of these people talking about the things they're doing to secure their pipelines and harden them and basically weed out data, they might become unusable. As there can't be that many samples for a topic as there are topics to go over. I think you're absolutely right, Russell. I think that that's maybe the point here. I would guess that to be true. So what Russell is saying, I think at least this is what I'm agreeing with, is that when you have a 280 token input and you're training to do a thing, to do whatever the thing is you're doing, or you're training this. So what he's saying is, and we talked about like 500 documents. These 500 documents target a very specific thing. These target a very specific document. So we could say pseudo is their target. Out of these 280 billion tokens, very few of them probably actually talk about pseudo. So you're basically brute forcing all of the pseudo references. There's probably only a few million at best. And 500 documents is probably a couple million tokens. You know, it depends on document size, and this actually goes in. They actually go into it in the study on some of those things, which we'll be reviewing in more depth when we try to recreate it. But it's effectively this. You're brute forcing a very specific topic that there was only a few tokens of any one topic. You know, if you tried to brute force lizards, well, you know, there's only so many lizards because you have to cover everything in this initial input group. I think you're absolutely right on that. That would be my guess as well. What did I miss about the state of Colorado? What did they do? Do you have a link? Anyways, if you're watching this on YouTube, please let me know where I'm wrong, if you agree, if you don't agree. I'd love to hear it from you. And if you are watching on YouTube, you can check me out live. If you're not on YouTube, let's keep chugging on. We have some stuff to talk about. All right. I have exciting news for us all. I went back and forth and back, around some bushes, and then I cut some firewood while thinking about this topic. There was an exorbitant amount of money that I saved for this, and I went ahead, and I can't show you the purchase order because they printed my address on it, like 6 different places. And it was going to be like a ton of work to actually show you the purchase order. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. I couldn't show you, not easily enough at least, but I did order the DGX Spark. It's a ridiculous amount of money. I want to do it for you all. So I added it up. I have made from Twitch alone, over the 3 years that I've streamed on Twitch, I have made about $1,000, and it's that $1,000 is going towards this. I've been saving up some of my own money, obviously, because it's $4,000. It's a stupid amount of money. But I have one exciting thing that I'm going to do with this. Obviously, we're all going to get to play with it on stream, and I have some stuff. And big deal here is I wanted it for the AI games. I am literally going to run local models at 200 parameters and see if we can compete with those hosted ones, something we've never been able to do before. And so I'm actually really, really excited about that. But beyond that, when the AI games are done, all long-term supporters, every single one of them, anybody that has supported me on Twitch or YouTube for over a year, I am going to provide them with a week of access. If you want to try it, play around with it, run your own model, I have a way to provide SSH access, and you will get a week of access to it. So if you've been a long-time supporter and want to do that, it's something we're going to have to figure out how to do the sandboxing exactly on it. It runs Linux, so I think we can just do VMs and do pass-throughs. That's my hope and goal, but we'll see. But if you've been a long-term supporter, would like to try it out and play around with it and do your thing with it, I'm absolutely happy for you to do that. Will Jensen come and hand deliver it like he did for Elon? No, absolutely not. It's going to be super dangerous. And like, I am going to do my best. We'll do it on stream. So I'm going to do it my best where when you have access to it, nobody has access to it, even myself, without like, we're going to use like teleport. So like you should be able to know if I access it. That being said, I wouldn't put sensitive data on it. Like, I'm just going to throw that out there. I wouldn't put your credit card information or anything like that on it. It is what it is. we're going to work to isolate it on its own network. It's going to be on its own switch, on its own network, on the router, isolated from everything else. I will be monitoring it like nobody's business, as far as like if you try to access any network outside of its network for any reason. But yeah, it sounds super dangerous. It's going to be fun. We're going to learn something. Honestly, there's nothing on my network that you can really access anyways. There's actually nothing on the network that you can access anyways. But anyways, it's going to be fun. So anyways, if you're a long-term supporter, you've earned at least a week. I say at least a week. It depends on how many people there are. There's not that many long-term supporters here. But if you're a long-term supporter, get yourself a week and at least. Will the best viewers... you know what? You're right. Only the best viewers will have access. Only the best viewers. Only the best viewers. So, anyways, I think it will be fun. I think it will be fun to provide, and we'll try to do it as securely and safely as possible. And then I'll probably get hacked. It'll be fun. All right. So yeah, I hope you guys like that. I thought it would be like something meaningful that I could provide. And we might have some good streams trying to set it up and secure it as well. I think Russell, I would appreciate a good a good test. I give you specifically permission to try to attack all my other infrastructure to make sure that it's isolated. I think that would be a good a fun test. Yeah. Actually, I would probably, if people wanted to try to do that, as long as they let me know, I'd probably be okay with it. Good learning experiences, really, honestly. That's what it's for. And I really don't have anything for you guys. Like, I think the worst you could do is maybe figure out the city I live in, which I don't really care. All right. Arduino has fallen. Now, I've talked very fondly of Arduino, and a lot of the times I actually buy from Arduino instead of the cheap Chinese counterpart to support their mission. Arduino has done a lot of good in the community. They've done a lot of good for people learning to program, as well as a lot of good for just people that want to automate their home and other things. I use a lot of Arduinos, and my lights that aren't currently working, but will work when I get them set up in my office down in the basement, are all powered by Arduinos. So I kind of like them. But before we talk about Arduino, we really need to talk about Broadcom to acquire VMware. Let's talk about how that went. If anybody remembers, Broadcom came in, bought VMware, and did massive sweeping changes. Broadcom did a lot of things that weren't great. People did not like and were angry about. In fact, they basically revoked all long-standing contracts that VMware had and got rid of the perpetual licenses that many people paid for. Why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about what Broadcom did to VMware? Well, if you look at what Broadcom does, this is not actually a new thing. This is what Broadcom does. They acquire a company and they chop it up till it is undistinguishable, and they fully integrate it into Broadcom. You don't maintain, you don't stay VMware inside of Broadcom. You become Broadcom. Now, why? Why do I bring this up? San Francisco, Qualcomm on Tuesday said it acquired Arduino. I was like, oh no, this Reuters has succumbed to AI. This isn't true. The Italian not-for-profit firm that makes hardware and software for developing prototypes of robotics and other electronics gadgets would never do this to us, would they? So I had to look it up from the source. Well, it turns out that Qualcomm did, in fact, purchase Arduino for an undisclosed, unspecified amount of money. Now, I want to let you know that Qualcomm promised that they weren't going to touch Arduino, that they weren't going to change Arduino. In fact, announced that they were going to acquire Arduino, a premier open source hardware and software company. The transaction accelerates Qualcomm's technology strategy to empower developers by facilitating access to its unmatched portfolio of edge technologies and products. This acquisition built on the company's recent integration of Edge Impulse and Foundries.io, reinforcing its commitment to delivering a full-stack edge platform that spans hardware, software, and cloud services. The closing of this transaction is blah, 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 blah. Arduino will preserve its open approach and community spirits while unlocking its full stack platform for modern development. Arduino will retain its independent brand, tools, and mission while continuing to support a wide range of microcontrollers and microprocessors from multiple semiconductor providers as it enters the next chapter of the Qualcomm family. Now, what does this actually mean? There's a pessimist inside of me that wants to say this is the end for Arduino. It's at least the end of Arduino as we know it. Now, will this be good or bad? I don't know. There is some really cool things that you can do if you control a larger piece of the stack. If they really leverage Foundries.io and Edge Impulse to let you run lambdas that control your Arduino, that's actually pretty cool and something that Arduino itself doesn't provide out of the box. You'd have to do yourself. So could this be a huge benefit? It could. It could be really awesome. If Qualcomm treats this with the child gloves, with the soft, fluffy gloves that it deserves, I'm hopeful. I'm excited. Is this Qualcomm's standard operating procedure? No, it's not. Now, the reason I have a little flame of hope, a little flicker down deep in my soul of hope, is they have been trying to access the developer communities. And if this is their ploy for developer communities, well, developers would not be very fond of how they did all of the other acquisitions. But all of the other acquisitions were not about developers. Those were about big corporate licensing and agreements. Really doesn't affect developers at all. So my hope, my little bit of hope that I have here is that Qualcomm realizes that. They realize that they can do that with VMware and get away with it, but that they would inevitably destroy the product that they spent, I'm sure, quite a bit of money on if they tried to do that here with Arduino. What do you think? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm wrong to give it a little bit of hope? I hope I'm not wrong. I hope that I'm not wrong, but hope is not a good plan. So stock up on Arduino while it's last. There needs to be a fire sale. You should go stock up on our Arduino products while you can still get them without a license fee. Oh gosh. Okay. I was thinking that, wasn't I? I was completely confusing them. Qualcomm is not Broadcom. Qualcomm does the chips. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. They are quite different, aren't they? They are quite different. Qualcomm, not Broadcom. They have different histories. Let's clear that up. They have different histories. Especially with they have different histories, especially when it comes to I can't believe I made that mistake. I can't believe I made that mistake. That's a dead mistake. Fantastic. I actually don't know Qualcomm's acquisition history that well. what they've done. They haven't been as big of controversies. They haven't been as controversial, have they? Hmm. I gotta look into this now. I just made a huge blunder. Huge blunder. Qualcomm. I'm sorry, Qualcomm. I gotta look up to see how you're going to do it. I hope that they do well. I actually, again, I would say that I hope that they do well, because it would be really great to see, like I said, edge compute that's really easy to access, that just works to control your stuff. You know, how I do it now, like, do I deploy a container? I would deploy a container, but like you could do like a Lambda or whatnot. But then you have to like actually get your keys onto the Arduino and stuff like that and handle all of that nicely. So it would be cool to see a fuller stack that just kind of worked for people. Qualcomm and ARM having disputes on licensing. Yeah, I mean, licensing disputes are way different. Like, licensing disputes get interesting, right? They have a lot of lawyers involved, and anytime you get a lot of lawyers involved, like, those things get interesting. Yeah. I say interesting, like, it sometimes there's obviously people in the wrong. But there's also a lot of times where it's like, oh, they're using this licensing kerfluffle to like stamp out ground or understand stuff and whatnot. So like again, those are much more difficult to understand and pinpoint. Well, some of them. Some of them. All right. Maybe the biggest deal this week. We have a little bit of open source news that you all need to know about. A little bit of open source news. It's everybody's favorite Python. If you wanted to know that Python sucks just a little bit less today, well, it does. Python 3.14 was released, and I actually think that this is maybe one of the biggest releases since Python went from Python 2 to Python 3. I think it's one of the biggest releases. So why? Why is it? Well, free-threaded Python is officially supported. Now, everybody's always argued that Python isn't actually multi-threaded, and the fact is, Python's never been multi-threaded. Python has always only ever been single-threaded. You can only run one thread. It's why a lot of the reasons things are offloaded into C or other programs when they want to be multi-threaded. When you see a multi-threaded application in Python that just operates really fast, most of the libraries that it's actually leveraging to do that are in a different language because Python itself is not multi-threaded. Well, that changes today in 3.14. It changes. It's not true anymore. For all you Python haters out there, learn to embrace Python. Now, I think this is maybe possibly true. I think they really took this because Python used to be sitting high and mighty on top of the AI world. But it's kind of been falling to TypeScript. And part of me wonders is because TypeScript, despite all of its issues, is actually multi-threaded. you can actually write multi-threaded things. And in Python, you'd have to call out to things. I don't know that that's truly the case here, but I start to wonder. There's a bunch of other things that come out in 3.14. Now, I'm not a huge Python person. I only dabble a little bit in it, but there's a multitudinous things that came out in this release. I think that that's probably worth a good check if you're into Python. An improved C API for configuring Python. I mean, who doesn't want a better C API? There's definitely a lot of improvements. Probably my favorite, other than the multi-threading, is the Z standard for compression. If you don't know what Z standard is, it's a pretty good compression algorithm, and by pretty good, it's one of my favorites. So there's definitely the new compression.z standard providing support for Z standard compression algorithm. That's probably my second favorite over the free-threaded Python. So definitely give it a check. Let me know what you think about it and what you're planning to build in Python. Did you know that there's definitely microchips that use Python? It's kind of great. It's kind of great. Yes, Scott B joined, our resident Mojo aficionado. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. All right, we have just a few news things I thought I'd bring up. We're not going to dive deep into them. I'll save those for the very end. I'll save those for the very end. I saw a very interesting thing from Bloomberg. Bloomberg released the AI economy. I wanted to just review this with you. I'm not a financial expert, so nothing I say here is of any real value, just some ramblings of an old man. But if we look at this, is NVIDIA and Microsoft the only people making money in this? Like, actually making money. NVIDIA makes money by selling their chips. Microsoft makes money by a lot of ways. And what's interesting about this is a lot of this demand for NVIDIA chips is sponsored by itself. So basically, NVIDIA agrees to invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI. But it's actually just a discount on their chips, right? So basically, this is a 25% discount on their chips. And OpenAI only gets this $100 billion to buy NVIDIA chips with, right? For ownership of OpenAI. So they get a discount for NVIDIA chips by selling some of their market share, some of their stock. And that's what a lot of these are doing. XAI, the same. They're getting a discount to buy NVIDIA chips for some ownership of XAI. They don't even get the chips for free. They get a discount. They still have to pay money for it that comes outside of this. I don't know. It's very interesting to me. So I was then looking up OpenAI financials that we know of. OpenAI confirmed it would pay Oracle $300 billion. But how much is it making? How much is it making? A $500 billion data center deal. I think the last time that we actually looked at it, we need $2 trillion in annual revenue to fund the infrastructure needs. What was the last report on OpenAI's? What was their yearly revenue? 13 billion. $13 billion a year. So this is like really, really concerning to me. Whatever you want to say here, when you're saying like the biggest player in this, the biggest demand is making 13 billion, and they're burning through money that quickly, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned that a lot of this is going to crash, and it's going to be an impact. It has so much money in it. It's going to be an impact for the entire economy at this point. It's gotten so out of control that, yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I was just looking at it. It's interesting. I'm not a financial expert here. It seems like there's just not a 13 billion annual recurring revenue. They don't have enough money to do all the deals that they're making. They don't have $300 billion. They don't have a $500 billion of data center rollout. And this is after going through Microsoft's 14 billion. It won't crash, as the term is pop. Okay, my apologies. My apologies. The rocket ship we are flying on isn't going to crash. It's going to pop. Anyways, I found that interesting. Like I said, I need to dig into it more. I understand like companies' financials and looking at those, but this is another meta layer that goes on top of that, because we're not looking at a company's financials. It's looking at how all of these are interconnected. The other interesting one here is CoreWeave. I believe, yeah, CoreWeave is really interesting because NVIDIA basically is giving them the GPUs to buy, but guaranteeing people will use them. And if not, they'll pay CoreWeave for what the utilization would be. That feels like it's drumming up demand, right? Like they're making sure that their chips go somewhere. And they're basically giving CoreWeave a guarantee that CoreWeave will get paid whether people leverage them or not. It's very, very interesting here. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Let's go through the last few things that I think were interesting. There's a couple quick things that I think you guys might enjoy if you use AWS or if you use Microsoft. So Amazon Quick Suite answers your questions and turns these answers into actions using agentic teammates for research, business insights, and automation. So if you haven't seen Amazon Quick Suite and you do a lot of stuff with Amazon, you might try to leverage this. I haven't leveraged it myself. I'm a little hesitant to. I've seen how Amazon Q works, and I definitely hate the idea of automating stuff based off of randomness, which is what AIs do. But it is definitely there. I think that there might be some use for it at a high level if you're very careful with how you use it. I hope they bake those safeguards in, but I haven't leveraged it, so I don't fully know. Meta signed a big deal to use Google. So Meta is, what was it, a $10 billion deal? I think it's a $10 billion deal. Yeah, $10 billion deal with Google. So that's a huge win for Google's team. So kudos to them. We'll see how it works out. And the last thing that I guess I must have accidentally closed the tab on, but Microsoft released a new update, a big update, major update, fantastic update to their marketplace. I think there was quite a few things that changed with the Azure marketplace, but one of the big things was basically a place for you to host your agents and other people to buy them. So if you're trying to build a little bit of an agent and whatnot and trying to do something with it, it might be worth looking to see if you can't host your agent on there to see what it can do. I know that they've done like their agent framework that ties all into that. And so I don't know, maybe it's a really fantastic marketplace for your agent. So maybe it increases visibility and makes it easier to leverage and find other people's agents. I think that's what they're kind of gearing towards. I read the post. I just don't have the post in front of me to give to you all. So my bad. It looked interesting. I don't know that I would trust other people's AI agents unless they come from a reputable firm. But that's just me. I know a lot of people like to trust before anything else. And so if that's you, go for it. This is Sparta. I was just covering the news. I like to go through the news. Sometimes I get it wrong. I made a little bit of a boo-boo today. Qualcomm acquires Arduino. I accidentally said Broadcom acquires Arduino at the start. No, I'm not perfect. I'll be the first to admit it. I will be made fun of this probably for many years at this point. But I cover the news. I cover what's happening in software engineering's world. I cover open source. Today we covered Python and its update to 3.14, which brought it multi-threading, like actual real multi-threading. We covered Anthropic's new study about how they poisoned AI models and what I think the impact of that would be. I cover the news as a whole swath. I try to cover the CNCF and anything that's happening there, or the ASF, the Apache Software Foundation. I try to keep you all up to date in new and breaking security issues, like with the Shai Halud. And yeah, I try to do my best at that. And chronically, I mess up analogies. I used crash instead of pop, which, you know, my bad. My bad. Did anybody else see anything throughout the week that I should look at? That was really it. That was really it. I can bring up the... Let me bring this up. This is the link. I had it in my notes. This is the Microsoft portal. The reimagined Microsoft marketplace. So it, again, the big thing here that I saw was it looked to try to make it easier to host your AI agent. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. See all AI apps and agent solutions. Like, does it mean that like they made it easier to sell your SaaS AI? Are we talking about SaaS AIs or are we talking about local? I don't quite know. These look like SaaSes. Again, I'm not fully, but that's like the big news was around the AI apps and agents solutions, making it easier for A, people to market and sell their AI agent, and B, easier for people to acquire those AI agents. So Twitch had a physical security issue at TwitchCon. They were all begging for me to go to TwitchCon. I was like, you know, I'm a pretty big streamer, but, you know, I don't want to steal the spotlight of all the smaller streamers that were there. So I thought it was my obligation and duty to avoid TwitchCon, just for all those smaller content creators there. Wait, is this a... Oh, wow. That's quite the physical. I kind of half assumed when we talked about physical security, like somebody snuck in. Ignorant was I. Ignorant was I. That was worse than somebody snuck in. I mean, okay. Well, they did sneak in, but yeah. A little bit worse than just sneaking in. I have always said that I would love to do that. Not sneak in under the radar, but like actually test physical security by like being paid to try to break in. Like, obviously I'm trying to break in, but like try to do it with the events planner's knowledge, right? Not illegal perimeter security testing. I don't know what to call that. Whatever. Exactly. Beanless. I think that would be fun. I'm not saying I would be good at it either. I'm not sitting here telling you that like, oh, I'd be great at it. I want to try it. I think I would be terrible at it, but I do actually want to try it. I absolutely want to be like, I want to break into your house without breaking anything. Probably couldn't do it. I would spend like 6 days trying to break in, and they'd be like, the back door was unlocked this entire time. We gave you an easy way in. You didn't even try just opening the back door, did you? No. You're an idiot. You tried like putting a wire down the chimney to unlock the front door, and you just, this would be me. I would miss the stupid easy. Yeah. All right. I am going to do, since we've covered the news, I'm going to do some programming. I want to encourage you guys to play Wordle while I'm out, or get up and stretch and don't play Wordle. If you're new here, this is a thing we made. You can play Wordle. You make a guess. The timer starts as soon as the first person guesses, and the leaderboard doesn't work. After this, we're gonna program some. Thanks everybody for joining me for the news. I super appreciate your support. I'm super excited what we have going on at the end of this year. Russell and I would both fail for completely different reasons. Yeah. Although, like I said, when we get the new machine, so end of December, I want to get some people hacking my setup to see if they can get out of the sandbox that we set up for them on the AI machine. So I think that will be tons of fun. Like, I actually think that will be tons of fun. I'm going to keep... I'm actually going to purchase separate internet, so it's literally just not on a network with anything else, which I think will be really cool. For the couple months that I provide it to the long-term supporters. If we can get it where like we're confident of it, I'll continue doing it after that. But anyways, it will be fun. I'm actually really excited about some of the fun, stupid stuff that we're going to do. It's going to be dangerous. You guys are killing this. You know what? Next time we play this, I'm giving you guys the hard word list, okay? You guys have been coasting on the easy word list. I've been boosting your guys' confidence. Next time we play, it's the hard word list for you all. It's the hard word list. Anyways, I'm gonna go make myself. Did you guys really just guess the same thing again? Now you can. Oh, you think it was lag? That's hilarious. I think that you can assume that rest isn't it because it would pick the winning one if you won. Oh. Was rest also lag? We gotta look into that because it's supposed to pick the win. There's either a bug here or it was lag. I guess it had to be lag because you didn't guess rest again, did you? Okay, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go make myself a cup of tea. You guys have fun playing this, and I am going to, I'll see you in about 10 minutes, and we'll get to a little bit of coding, and we can talk about whatever. Hopefully not the difference between Broadcom and Qualcomm, because obviously not an expert. Oh, it's gravy. It's gravy. Nice. That one's kind of a hard one. That one's kind of difficult. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing this weekend? I know it's like usually it's at the beginning of the weekend. Now it's towards the end of the weekend. How did everyone's weekend go? Did it go well? Hopefully it went well. These were not that easy. That one didn't look easy, to be honest. To be honest, did not. Oh, I keep forgetting to. Okay, I'll update the machine afterwards. Gravy is like it's easy when you see it, but like the words in it, like especially when you get like the V's and like the uncommon characters. Scott B, how's your weekend going? How are you liking Mojo so far? Let me know how. Let me know how you're liking it. I've contemplated trying it. Yeah. It makes much more sense than Rust. Oh, fighting words. Fighting words. How can it make more sense than the thing that defines sense itself? That's like nonsensical. It's just nonsensical. I can't make sense of it. Scott. I hope you all know I'm just teasing. What was confusing about traits? Traits is just limited inheritance, right? I only say it that way because it annoys every single Rust person out there. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah? Which Mojo class did you do? Alright, did you just do like their do they have like a, you know how Go has like a Go walkthrough? What is it called? What is Go? What is it called? It has like a it's not a playground, but it's like a tour of Go. Yeah, did they have like a tour of Mojo? should be Golings. Huh. Oh, this is from a Pythonicist. Pythonicistas. Interesting. Okay. I haven't not learned Mojo because I've not wanted to. I have not learned Mojo just because at the moment of the time, the number of things I have on my plate that require my intervention is not having fun playing around with a new language right yet. Python is an aquarium brand. Dutch, welcome. Welcome. Okay, I'm gonna just, I said this in the news, but since Dutch and Scott are here and maybe missed it, I'm gonna just say it again because you two are long-term supporters. I went back and forth. I actually almost didn't purchase it, but I went ahead and purchased my... I can't show you the purchase order. Literally, they had my address on the purchase order more than they had anything else. I don't know why they did it like I don't know exactly how, I don't remember exactly how many times, but they had my address on there more than twice. And I was just like, if I blacked out like the parts with my address, it would be mostly just like blacking it out, and then it would look like it wasn't even real. Anyways, I ordered it for two reasons. One, every single AI games, one of the biggest issues is that we don't actually have a good... One of the biggest issues with the AI games is that we don't actually have a good local competition, right? Because every single time we run a local one, they suck. But we're also doing like, 5 billion parameters or something stupid like that. So like, they've never been a good example. And when we were trying to do the training, like we actually, I don't know if you all remember, we actually successfully trained, and those that GitHub is up there. We actually successfully trained some stuff using PyTorch. But like, we had to keep the model so small that it didn't really make a difference in the end, because the models were so small, they were kind of dented. So that's the reason number one. The AI games deserved a $4,000 computer to power the local models. I'm excited about that. I've saved up to buy this thing to just try it. The second thing that's going to affect long-term supporters. For the long-term supporters, those of you that have given month after month to me, and I super appreciate that. My first big thank you to any long-term supporter that's supported for longer than 12 months. I'm going to give a week of access to, so that you can try it out yourself. I mean, you only have the terminal, so hopefully that's fine with you, but like, you'll have access through SSH. I don't know exactly how we're going to do it yet, but you'll have access to a sandbox, probably a VM in there. If we can get all the VM pass through, like the GPU to pass through to the VM and everything, I think that's probably how we're going to do it. Anyways. Yeah, so starting in January, hopefully you all will get access to this little thing and get to try it for a week. No Oxide yet, Dutch. Trust me, if I could afford it, I'd get the Oxide. But no Oxide just yet, unfortunately. I get why this is less cool, but hopefully this actually gives us some really cool content as well as gives you guys something. I'm actually kind of excited about it. At first I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. $4,000 is a stupid price, and like I'm not even convinced that at $4,000 it's going to be that good. We'll see. Hopefully I'm pleasantly surprised, but I think it's going to give us some great content, some great YouTube content. I think that it's something cool I can provide people that have supported me for a long time. Like, hey, do you want to try it instead of buying it? Go try to train something for a week. And I say a week. If somebody's like, hey, I want to run this thing and it has like, it's going to take 2 weeks, that's going to be fine with me. I mean, probably especially like I think I counted like 10 people. So we'll do 1 week for 10 people. And then after that, if somebody has something that they want to try that runs longer, we can try it. So my hope and plan is to have it always trying to do something, to get the full use out of it. All right, let's continue on. Anyway, so I'm excited about that. I don't know when I'll get it. I ordered it yesterday. I bit the bullet yesterday. So what? Who's calling me a lark? Have fun mowing, Scott. It's raining here. Classic Midwest. I don't know why it's called the Midwest. It should be the Mideast, but I think that gets confusing for people. But Midwest gets confusing too, so. All right. Okay. I had the problem that I failed to actually solve before with that, how we're passing data in. If you guys remember, I only spent like 30 minutes outside of stream on this over the last week, which I need to spend more. I don't know how exactly we're going to pass the args in just yet, but I figured instead of just re-spending brain cycles on that, we're just going to start doing the game loop and thinking that through. We understand how we want to pass the data in. Now it's just massaging that in. Like it's just like getting that in to a good place, because really I'm just trying to not make it too complicated and inevitably making it more complicated in the strictest sense of things. So we're gonna ignore that for right now. We're just gonna focus on the game loop itself. I need to, jump to location is deprecated. What? I need to update my jump start, quick start, Vim start. What is it called? I think it's jump start. In Vim, jump start, quick start, something start, kick start. It's kick start. I need to update mine. I need to do this as a stream. It's starting to crack at the seams, and I haven't wanted to touch it because I made a few mistakes my first time going through. And one of the things that I did with this was I did all my changes inside of this document, which, like, it was a good first go at it, but one of the problems was that now if I try to pull in upstreams changes, I can't. And so like I'd like to keep it where like I keep up to date with the upstream, but also have my touches layered on. So the next time that I want to do this, I want to actually layer my changes on instead of editing it. So like, I don't know. What is this? It's deprecated, but what is like? Oh, so I'm supposed to use jump now? Why? This doesn't work. This doesn't work. I don't understand. They're saying to use jump for both. I guess maybe you control whether it's forward or backwards with the options. Let's see. Can we go like jump? There's a lot of fields. I'm getting a little nervous. I hate just like options. Okay, let's see what we have here. Namespace, limit diagnostics to one L number. Is there like forward and backwards? I wish there was an example usage. Anyways, this is inconsequential. I need to do that though. Maybe I'll do it next weekend. Maybe I keep saying I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it next weekend. Russell, what are you using? Are you using VS Code? I could, one thing that I actually really like, Zed. Uh-oh. Did Zed just fail to launch? Come on, Zed, you can do it. I see. There we go. That was a staggering amount of time. Maybe I'll give Zed like a good couple weeks. code and writer at the moment. I need to get a JetBrains sponsorship. I actually would take a JetBrains sponsorship. Probably. I'd have to review it, but like I would probably take one. I have always liked their editors in general. Oh gosh, they don't do dark mode very well. It might already be dark mode. Yeah, that's why it doesn't do dark mode very well. I've always liked their ones. Now, I tried Rust Rover, and Rust Rover wasn't that great. It was okay, but like that was when it was in preview, so like I bet you it's gotten better. And they by far had the best cargo file editing. My big problem is I use Python, Go, and Rust pretty all the time, which means I basically have to pay for let's see, where's their buy? I just want to for individual use. Let's go. I basically have to buy their $300 one. I said Rust Rover. I said Rust Rover. Oh, maybe it was at the end. I was trying to think of the other ones first. Golang, Rust Rover, Python. I'm trying to think here. Like, I think writer is C#. I touch C# every once in a while, but data spell. I can't spell, so this would be useless for me. So it's just kind of expensive. If I could jump to $150 a year, I might. Maybe I'll reach out to him. But I'm gonna give Zed a shot for right now. What? What? You come in here? Come up? Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not with your teeth. Not with your teeth. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get you. Yeah, you're biting. You're biting. You're biting. You're biting. She enjoys biting. She doesn't bite hard. She doesn't bite hard. Right. You bite gently. You bite gently. Yeah. Do you need to go outside? Is this why we're barking? Maybe she needs to go outside. Let me go really quickly. To make sure. She needs to go outside one way or another, right? All right. Yeah. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go let her outside. I'll be right back. I'm coming. Let's go. Let's go. She's a German Shepherd. Yeah, German Shepherd. Your finger has a stutter. She's our rescue. So we have 2 German Shepherds. She's obviously not a well-bred German Shepherd, but she's all German Shepherd. Like if you were talking like AKC German Shepherd, she's not. You know, she has a little bit of a curl in her tail. That's bad breeding. But she's pretty much all German Shepherd. I can't find any other hint of a dog in her, other than just she's not a show German Shepherd. She's our rescue. She's a good girl. She was just found abandoned and starving to death down the road. So she's integrated pretty well. The other one is our search and rescue German Shepherd. He's still a puppy, so he's 10 months, but he has gotten... he's 11 months now. Yeah, because he'll be 1 November 17th, so he is 11 months. He's already 120 pounds, so he's a big dog. We're trying to teach him to make himself imposing. To make himself not imposing when approaching people. So we're trying to train him to be a good search and rescue for, like, we live near a lot of national forests. People get lost, and so they go out to find them. And one of the things is, like, if a big German Shepherd finds you and starts barking at you, it's not great. So we have a GPS collar, so we can track him just fine. A lot of times he stays with us while tracking, but also he's supposed to, when he finds somebody, he's supposed to, like, lay down and crawl to them. But he's a puppy and he still gets very excited, so he, like, hits the ground, and then he starts, like, I'll have to try to record it for you guys. He does like this aggressive waddle towards the person, because he's trying to do it as fast as possible. He knows that he's supposed to, like, he doesn't get why we're asking him to do what he's doing. So like, to him, it's just, I'm supposed to get down on my belly, but I want to go meet the person. I'm very excited to go meet the person because I found them, and, you know, I did a good thing. And it's, he looks kind of half possessed at this point. So anyways, yeah, those are the 2 dogs that we have. He runs at them crocodile style. Exactly. He literally runs at them crocodile style. He looks possessed as he's, like, going towards them. It's pretty funny. Yeah, so that failed. So anyways, I mean, he's still a long ways away from actually being a surgeon. It takes about 2 years. We're doing a lot of, like, we take them to, there's stores and stuff that you can take them to, that they allow. So, like, your Tractor Supply, your hardware stores, they allow pets. So we take them there so that they get used to a lot of different smells and stuff. And just seeing different people and trying to stay focused. So we actually do training sessions at the one hardware store because there's a lot of people there. And so, like, we go there because there's a lot of distractions going on, and he has to focus on, you know, what he's supposed to be doing. So, anyways, he's a good dog, though. He's actually a really good dog. For being a puppy, he's a very good dog. Do not panic. He's a rescue crocodile. Well, it's a real thing because, like, he is 120 pounds. And if he's searching, he can actually go out without us. Like I said, we can track him. So, like, he needs to be not a rescue crocodile. Don't get me wrong, he like wears a bright orange vest and it has like the words on it. Like if you actually paid attention, you would understand what he was, but that's not everybody's point of mind when they're lost in the woods. So, he has a little vest that he carries water and stuff in. All right. So what I was thinking of game unit, I'm trying to now think of okay. So it's Shift P, agent. Okay. I'm just relearning the shortcuts for. Can I build in this? Can I build? I don't remember how. Z build Rust project. So I don't need like a terminal's fine. That's the opening a terminal might be stomped on by i3. Oh, this is cool. So if I'm here, that is not what I thought it was doing. One second. Wait. Control backslash should hide and wait. Essentially already spend most of your time writing code. File browser. Located on the left, this panel shows your project file tree. You can toggle it with control backslash. So like this is backslash. I know what backslash is. If I do control backslash, that's not what that does. Control Shift P is the command. Yeah. Okay, so like this doesn't hide and show with backslash. I don't know. Their other commands work. That was cool. If I select both of these and do that. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Okay. Excellent. That's the other way to open the command palette. So you can do Control Shift P, which does the command palette, but the way I do it is just because I have Vim bindings on, it's just colon. Not that. Just Shift colon. Cool. The easiest way. This is what I've been using, the Control P to do the fuzzy find of a file. Yeah. 1 second. I hear the dogs at the door now. So let me go let them in. Let me go let the pups in. Be right back. Oh boy. I've also gone back and forth with this. There's people who don't let them play with their mouths, and I think that's like valid. I've always played like my dogs bite me. They don't bite me hard. They know what gentle is, and they know if I get overly dramatic if they bite too hard. So they know that they hurt me, and that's always been like a thing. And as they get older, they learn what an appropriate amount of like mouthing is and not mouthing. I guess I've just never had a problem with it, but I also know people that are very much against like, oh, your dog should not use your mouth on you. And also my dogs don't do it to strange people or people they don't know. They only do it with people that they enjoy. So I don't know. I've had long discussions with people that train dogs. Control B. I'm wondering if this is a little messed up because of the VIN bindings. I'm wondering if that's why not all of these are working. Oh, it is capital B, maybe? Oh, capital B does the file browser, but this is interesting. This isn't the file browser, but this is actually cool. It's kind of like the not the file browser. What is this called? Why can't I think of this? It's the document browser, really. That's actually cool. How do I switch back to the other pane? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! So, Control B did hide it, but it won't bring it back because of the Vim bindings. Wait, if I go to edit and do Control B, oh, so they work in edit mode. Okay. Not in, oh, okay. I can get accustomed to this. It's just how dogs sense things. I find that, I mean, dogs sense things through smell and taste. So, like, that's why a lot of dogs are mouthy. They put their mouth on things. They do sense stuff that way. Now, they don't need to put their mouth on you. It's like, they also don't need to bark inside. And obviously there's extremes where the dogs bark a ton inside, or dogs are always putting their mouth on everything. And or you know, like dogs chew, and that's actually good for their teeth, but they shouldn't chew on everything. So there's always happy mediums to all of these things. You know, it's like an easy one is there's some people who will be like, I will only play fetch with the dog. Well, I have two dogs right now that one loves playing fetch. He will sit out there and let you throw the ball until he basically just can't go get the ball again. And then I have one who likes to be chased. Now, sometimes I'm not in the mood to chase, and I don't chase her. And I throw the ball, and if she wants to bring it back and go chase it again, she'll do that. But she also enjoys it if I will chase her. And so sometimes I chase her. Now, she's also well-trained, so if I tell her to drop it, she will drop it. If I tell her to bring it to me, she'll bring it to me. So, like, there's no problem there either. But she gets really excited so I'll chase her, because I don't know why she finds that fun. I'm not entirely sure, because, like, she can outrun me, but she waits for me. She, like, goes slow so that I can catch up to her. And then she takes off. And then they're like, okay, good. You beat me. And so in general, as long as the dog, for me, learns the limits and the boundaries, then I'm happy to support them doing whatever they find the best to interface with me. If that means coming up and mouthing my arm a little bit, like, great. As long as you don't bite down, I don't care. Yeah, Dutch. Exactly. And dogs are so different. They're so different. It's just like children. Like when you have children, you're like, oh, I've had a child. I know how to deal with this. And then like the next child will be amazingly different. And you're just like, I was not prepared for this. And you come from the same genetic pool. And you even look similar. But no, behavior, completely different. And dogs are the same way. Some dogs struggle with different things. And, some dogs chew on everything. Neither of my current German Shepherds have a chewing problem. They like to chew. Asher likes to chew more than Ayla, but they both will chew a little bit. And they chew on their toys. We have lost one wireless charger. And one piece of trim to Asher as a puppy. And one book. The book wasn't his fault. The book was left on his bed, and he chewed it. But yeah, in general. And the wireless charger, I don't know what happened. He's never really chewed on stuff, but that wireless charger, he likes it. He likes that. It's my wife's wireless charger. We have found him twice with it in his mouth. Okay, I changed it to this instead of the file structure, but now I don't know how to go back. Control T? Control T. Oh, interesting. So Control T lets me go to symbol in here, but I can't be in edit mode. Interesting. Okay, well, this is actually kind of cool, though. Oh, and it's a cross file. It's not even... Oh, this is actually kind of powerful. Because, like, I could be, like, Agent Kind. Oh, I like that. Okay, I like that. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Doggo is not guilty. Labs are a hunting dog. My sister loves labs. She's a lab person. But I'm not. I'm obviously kind of. I like Australian Shepherds, which are herding dog, which has their own issues, and German Shepherds. For me, German Shepherds aren't usually considered good protective dogs, but for me, I like them because they have like the right mix of protective. So like they'll go out there and protect my children in the woods or whatnot, wherever they're playing. But they're also not like, when you get into some of the more nuanced like work dogs, they can be a little overprotective where it's like, oh yeah, a person came over and like they were, no, my dogs enjoy people coming over. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that is F. Okay, Control F. I love that. I need to learn how to... Where's my file explorer? I need to go back. Go to symbol is Control T. Wait. Search across the entire project. I was doing Control F. Not Control Shift F. Let me try Control Shift F. Okay, that's the full search, and I have to be in edit mode. If I'm in Vim mode, Control Shift F. Oh, it still worked. It still worked. Okay, but this is like a big. I don't love getting taken out of that. I much prefer this. Yeah. Control Shift 0. This doesn't even make sense. Go to symbol and go to symbol across the entire project. Go to symbol does the entire project, right? Like, I'm currently in main and I can do AI agent. Yeah, this is across the entire project, so that doesn't make sense to me. Oh, is that an O? Oh, Control Shift O. You're right. You're right. How is that different? Search buffer symbols, and then this. I mean, it's a little different in what it looks like. That's that. That's that. So this is... Okay, interesting. So... Oh, I wasn't seeing the functions in that. So in this one, I was seeing functions like game ID. Let's see in here. Game ID. Okay, so their documentation is a little wrong. Control T is across the entire project, but it doesn't do function symbols. Interesting. Oh, you think this is lazy built? Interesting. But it has more information. It has like the actual functions, right? Just in our example here, we can do game ID and actually go to that. Okay. Oh, this one is lazy, you're saying? The Control T one is? This one is the one you're saying is not lazy. The entire project. But this is also the entire project. T is probably good enough for me, but I'm going to try to remember that. J, let's see. J. Okay. So if I want the terminal to work, I have to be in edit mode. It's a little... I don't love. My heart was broken. I no longer can love. I don't love, like, some things don't work in Vim mode, and I have to go into edit mode. Like the J. That's not bad. But, like, I just have to remember that some things are edit mode only. All right, toggle the file browser. Now this is the thing that I screwed up. So it's Control B, but I have to be in edit mode. And I like getting rid of it. But the big thing is I press some combination to change this from my files to a document browser. Now I actually like this. Control Shift E, Control Shift B, B and E. Oh, cool. I actually like this. This is actually like really cool. All right, all right. But I can get back to this like this. Okay. But I have to be in edit mode. Okay. Or insert mode. T is a weird combo for it. Okay. This is what I consider is maybe one of Zed's biggest thing. It's not a clunky extension. I honestly do like their Vim. Like, obviously there's a little bit, but like in general, their Vim handling has been really, really good. So if we do, let's see, if we do this and we do theme selector. Use deprecating stitch or, okay. Back up and update. Ooh, we're updated. We're updated. I don't know why that. Can I go different? Oh, sweet. I can tab through these. Okay, and I can reverse order. So anything that's open up here, I can tab through. Cool beans. I like that. Just like a browser would. Okay, okay. That allows you to completely remap its keyboard. We have done this a little bit. How do I close this? Quit. I want to close this. I don't want to use the mouse to close that. What does it mean, close all items? Does it mean this? Like if I do Control W. Control W. Control W just closed it. Wait, let's try that again. I didn't have to use A, I just used Control W. Oh, workspace, close window, Control W. Oh, this is the Vim, but okay, Vim's not gonna be useful with this because Vim As soon as I do Control W, it closes the window. Okay, that's fine. That's all I wanted. Okay. That's why there's a delay. Oh, interesting. Okay, watch this. Control W. It has a delay, right? I think I know why. Because if you go and do like a key map, Control W, like it's instant because we're not in Vim there. Here, it's looking for like a Control WA, which closed all items. Oh, interesting. So it automatically does like tries to evaluate Vim first. I like that. I actually really like that because then I can use Vim and I can use the Control W as well. The Control W just has a pause. Now, I feel like I want to make it something else so there's no pause, so we don't have to wait for the evaluation. Interesting, interesting. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can just, I wasn't even thinking about that. Sometimes I'm an idiot. Okay. Sometimes I'm just a little dented. Okay. It's not like I made the mistake of confusing Qualcomm and Broadcom, so, you know, it's okay. I didn't make that big of a mistake. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked in learning this. And if I wanted to, I could Command J this, and I mean I could Command J this and do like cargo build. Okay. And then I could just get back into it. Okay, yeah. Why did I switch to nightly? There was something I needed, right? There was something I needed in nightly. I don't remember what it was. All right, what I was going to do is get the game loop. That's what we need to start doing. Do we want to, how generic do we want to make it? Or do we want every game to be custom? So what I was thinking here is like, it'd be cool to have some very high level generics that handle how games work. Like, do we want to run 500 in parallel? Or do we want to run one at a time with, you know, 2-second delay So do we want to run one at a time with a 2-second delay so like we can watch them play tic-tac-toe? You know, this is basically for the observability for the human, and this is for running large tests. And so I feel like every game should observe these, which means we need like a high-level game loop that does those things, right? That dictates turn ticks and those types of things. While every game then can handle the tick itself. Okay, that's what we really need, right? We'll basically make a default game loop here. Not default, but like base. And one of the things that it will do is it will call tick. Tick. On the game with the number. Like, I will probably like keep track of some like the time difference, the delta of time, loop number. I don't know exactly the things we'll pass, but we'll pass this stuff into the whatever game we have. Tick. Okay, okay. Dutch, what you have to understand is that there's a very fine line between stupidity and bravery. I have absolutely no idea where that line is. Where do I fall on that line? It's a line. If you have a face tattoo, you also don't know where that line exists. Let's see, what do we need here? I think this is it. It's probably mutating, but little concealer. Yeah, I'm actually in the inverse. I wanted to get a tattoo on my forearm, and my kids wouldn't let me get a tattoo on my forearm. I felt very inverse parented. They were like, "Dad, you're gonna have that forever on your forearm." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm an adult. I've been thinking about this for years." And they were like, "No, Dad, you can't do that." And I was like, "What the crap? What have I been teaching you guys about responsibility and letting your adult parent do what they like?" So, I can't get a tattoo. It was definitely a Vim shortcut list. It was how to make a macro in Vim. It was how to make a macro in Vim. Sorry, I was just thinking here. I'm gonna just do this, no return for right now. I feel like just thinking, like, I feel like, okay, one thing, I'm getting a little, I need to make it where I'm not 3 from the bottom. I'd like to be more in the middle. I need to edit this a little bit, but let's see. I need to what are the results of running the game loop? If we're saying we could do them all in parallel and everything, then we'd have like a vector, let results, and this would be a vec of what would this be a vec of? It would be a vec of things. Test results. We don't really have any to put in it. This is more like everybody would just shove their test results into this. So we really could just be like more of like actually, I was more correct the first way. I think we'll just do it like this, right? So we'll get a result because we're going to run a bunch of games. The other interesting thing about the game loop that we're going to have to deal with is we can be running multiple games. So that means we're running multiple game loops at a time. Oh gosh, did I make this painful for myself? I did. Okay, so we're going to have some sort of input that we do like some, you know, for 0 to 100. We should spin up a, you know, a spawn. Right. Wait, what? How do I go to the error? How do I jump to the error? I need to know. Z.dev jump to next diagnostic. No results found. Next. I don't know. This is not really searching. I want to search. Oh, gosh. Okay, maybe I just need to search their docs. Diagnostics. Okay, yeah. This is what I need. Diagnostic max severity. Oh, this will be cool because all diagnostics as underlined text in the editor. So I could say that I only want errors instead of like also jumping to the warnings. That's cool. I like that. Oh, they have a lot of diagnostics. I wanted the shortcut to jump to the next diagnostic, but maybe I should have just been doing Control-Shift-P, open the key map, diagnostics, go to diagnostics. Control dash. Ooh, that's a big one. Control dash less than? I don't like this one. Wait, are they saying just D? Are they saying just D? No. I wanted to expect that. That seems weird. Vim operate. I don't understand what they mean here. Space D. Okay, okay. Space D should be good. Not in edit mode. Space D. Okay. Not what I wanted. I am running in Vim mode. Oh, I'm starting to understand the context. They're saying, oh, okay, okay. It's space D when it's Vim mode equals Helix normal or Vim mode equals Helix select and Vim. And what? No, and not me. So when it's not me, no, it's actually and not menu. Okay. So really what I need is this one. When the Vim mode is normal mode. Square bracket D. I got it. Hashtag winning. This is actually difficult for me to do with how my keyboard is set up because so D is right there. But to do a square bracket, I have to hold D. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. So in this, I can do... Huh. That's not great on my keyboard. Alt... I don't have Alt either. I do have Alt. I don't know how to hit Alt. I don't know how to hit Alt on my keyboard. Is it holding Z? It might be holding Z. Try adding in here. This is not a great message. I mean, it's 4i in... This is what they're wanting, but I just was trying to get the diagnostics to work. Right? I guess I could click on this. Oh. Ooh. Yeah, okay. Why can't I get this in line? See, this is better if this is the intentional prefix with an underscore. But here... This is not great. Okay. Now, it did insert it. Check this out. Despite being kind of borked, if you do Alt L, it didn't work that time. Let's try it again. If I go here, it doesn't have the oh, okay. Alt L will take you to jump to edit. Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna have to figure that out. That's not as nice as I was hoping. All right, it is 1 p.m. It's gonna have to be it for me today. Thanks everybody for joining. It's a good 3-hour stream, or almost 3-hour stream. I'll see you guys at least on Saturday. We'll see if I stream during the week. I will announce in Discord if I'm streaming during the week. If something important comes up in the news, I'm gonna plan on streaming in the evening to cover said topic. So if there's something that's important, like the Shy Halud in the future, you're not gonna have to wait to hear about that. If it's not super important, I'm gonna prepare a little bit better, and I'm gonna come in and do it on the weekend. And I'm gonna have the configuration of this done. Actually, give me 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes. I wanted to. I got sidetracked. I got sidetracked here, but I wanted to like hammer out how this was gonna work, and then I'm gonna have the configuration done by next weekend. Some future. We need to do something like this. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna spawn some future. We'll probably do like a sync move. And we're gonna do something there, but not getting stuck on that. The big thing here is this is for every test case. We're going to make a game basically. But if we do this, and then we could actually do like a join. Okay, let me think about this. And then we join here and collect all of the results. Join and collect all the results. Okay, so this works. I think what this needs to do here is have a function. So call function to run the game. And that's going to be some function outside of this class that gets passed in all of the information that it needs to run the game. Function run game. And then this isn't really a game loop. This is start games. This is game loop. This is the game loop. Okay, this is actually, I think this is what I wanted. I'll let that marinate a little over the rest of the weekend. Maybe Broadcom will buy. Well, maybe Broadcom will buy Qualcomm this week, and I'll be vindicated. Oh boy, I'll be vindicated. I just need Broadcom to buy Qualcomm. And then my embarrassment will be just me showing you guys how I was seeing the future. And I won't have to admit that made a massive mistake. I still can't believe that I did that. I still can't believe that I did that. What do you think about Web3? Well, that's like a loaded question, right? What do you mean by Web3? I'll have to ask you. Do you mean Bitcoin? Do you mean a distributed ledger? Do you mean like there's a lot of context that goes in there. And I think my answer is different depending on what it is. If you're talking about NFTs, I mean, it was designed to kind of rip people off. If you're talking about a distributed ledger, I actually think that there's some interesting things for like micro warehousing that a distributed ledger can do. If the problem I have with the terminology Web3 is the fact that it's vague on purpose. It's not a different web, it's the same web, and you're just making a distributed database. And it's really disingenuous to everybody to refer to it as Web3 because you either don't know the core underlying technology that's driving it, or you are trying to sell it in a thing that it's not. Now, if you want a distributed ledger, it has some interesting implications. I especially think for micro warehousing. I'll tell you a startup that I tried to do. I didn't get funding for it successfully, but I wanted to use I wanted to make a blockchain to track physical cows, actually, for small farmers. So small farmers have 5-10 cows, and I wanted to help them track when they would be ready for butchering, and for people to buy local cows from local small farmers leveraging this. So it was a revolutionary way to do micro warehousing where each farmer was actually part of the blockchain and they were committing to the blockchain with actual physical cows and a way to get it to the customers. I think that actually makes a ton of sense. And but I mean, obviously it didn't get any real interest from people. So I think that there's a lot of interesting things in the Web3 umbrella. So yeah, I hope that answered what you asked. Did you call it cow dinner? Dude, where's my cow? Dude, where's my cow? That's pretty fantastic. I actually still think that it's a cool idea. It would take a lot of money because you have to get those small farmers on it. You have to change a whole industry. I think that a lot of small farmers would like to adopt it, but they couldn't adopt it unless there was people there, and you can't get people there unless the small farmers are there. And so a lot of it requires money to subsidize the farmers to be there before the people are there, and some things like that. Because like, I don't know if you've ever tried to like go and buy a grass-raised cow from a farmer. It's difficult. And they only want to sell you a whole cow. I don't need to tell you the sales pitch for this. But it leveraged things from what people call Web3 to do that. And I thought it was cool. Now, yeah, Web3 in itself is mostly a scam. It's not a scam. People leverage it to scam. It's like it's like I don't know. You could find like some hacking tool and be like, people leverage it to hack. It's not the only thing you can do with it, but a lot of people use it to hack. Blockchain and those, again, it's a distributed ledger. If you've been sold that it's Web3 or Web4 or whatever, you've been sold a lie. It's built on the same thing. and it's just a distributed ledger. Now, can you do cool stuff with a distributed ledger? Absolutely, if you want to. All right, I'm gonna sign off there. Thanks everybody for joining. I'll see you hopefully throughout this week a little bit. And I'm gonna redo all of the config. I might do it on stream if I stream throughout the week, or I might just do it myself. And I'm gonna do the config so that we can just focus on the game loop next week. Unless NVIDIA ships me my thing, and then we'll play around with the thing, the Spark. So they have square burgers. They don't love blockchain cow. I need to talk to Wendy's. I honestly think that it's a cool idea. Like I'll sit here and be like, I think it's a cool idea. But did you guys hear that? We have a camera that watches our driveway. You guys probably can't hear me, but we have a camera that watches our driveway, and when it detects a car, it beeps. They know that my wife is home. They know my wife is home because they heard the alarm that said somebody came up the driveway. So I need to go. I will see you all in a little bit.